Okay, so this problem says, Iris sells apples and oranges at the local farmer's market. Originally, 3/5 of the fruit were red apples and the rest were oranges. After she sold 1/3 of the oranges, her brother added some green apples to the pile of fruit. Due to these changes, 5/7 of the fruit were apples and the rest were oranges. What fraction of the apples were green apples? Okay, so to do this question, as usual, we are going to make the important parts of the question different colors and very distinct colors as to not distract us. There. Okay, and to do the question, we're going to make a table. There, this section will be for the apples, and this section will represent the oranges of the question. And again, we're going to start with the blue sentence, which says, originally 3/5 of the fruit were red apples and the rest were oranges. Okay, and to represent that in our table, we're going to make 3 cells, red, as to represent the apples, and 2 cells, orange, to represent the oranges. There, with that, we have represented blue sentence because we have 3/5 of the total number of fruit as red apples and 2/5 of the total number of fruit as oranges. Okay, and now we move on to the brown sentence, which says, after she sold 1/3 of her oranges, her brother added some green apples to the pile of fruit. Okay, so first, we're going to have to get rid of 1/3 of the oranges, or in some way show that they're sold. But we only have 2 cells here, and we need thirds. So to do that, I'm going to split every cell here into 3 pieces. And now we're also going to do that with the apples. And this cell as well. Okay, now that we have that, you can see that 1/3 of the oranges would be 2/3 of the cell, or 2 slivers. And we're going to make that a different color, like a lighter orange, and put 2 S's on them, just to really show that they're not part of the question anymore. They've been sold. Okay, now we should be finished with the brown part of the question. Now we have the magenta sentence, which says, due to these changes, 5/7 of the fruit were apples and the rest were oranges. Okay, so what the sentence is implying here is that 5/7 of the fruit are apples, including the red and green apples, meaning the oranges would have to take up 2/7 of the total number of fruits. So right here, we can see the number of oranges left are represented by 4 cells here, or 4 slivers in cell. And these are 2/7 of the total number of fruits. So 1/7 of the total number of fruits has to be 2 slivers, or 2/3 of a cell. Right, so we have something very important. 1/7 is 2 slivers. And right here, the magenta sentence says, the apples should take up 5/7 of the total number of fruits. So let's see, the apples take up 1/7, 2/7, 3/7, 4/7, and not quite 5/7. There's still 1 sliver missing. And that sliver has to be represented by the green apples. As in the brown sentence, we figured out that her brother added some green apples to the pile of fruit, and we didn't know how many. But since the apples have to take up 5/7 of the total number of fruit, and they don't quite do that, the last sliver has to be taken up by the green apples. So we're going to make that green. Let's represent the green apples. Okay, now we're done with all the colored sentences. See what the last part of the question says. It asks, what fraction of the apples were green? Okay, so you can see the red apples take up 9/10 of the total number of apples, and the green apples take up 1/10 of the total number of apples. So that's our answer. Just write 1/10 of the apples were green. And with that, we've finished solving this problem.